Hey guys, it's Maymay. Did you know that our stamp sets come with free SVGs? I want to do a little SVG frequently asked question video and explain them to you. So let's get started with that. Let's start with question number one. What is an SVG? Lots of you ask me, what exactly does that mean? Well, what an SVG is it is a electronic cutting file that allows us to create a scalable image that will go around our stamp. So we can size it to fit our stamps exactly. Sylvia designs these for every one of our stamp sets to make sure you can get that outline cut. And when you can get this cut with your electronic cutting machine, then stamping them is so easy because you don't have to fussy cut. So these were all cut, these letters and that ornament were cut on my Cricut. And then I was able to stamp them and not have to fussy cut them out. So it keeps you from having to fussy cut. Here's some more examples here of SVGs that were cut, and then we were able to stamp, and see how cool that is? That makes it really, really easy. Okay, SVGs can be used on lots of machines. So you can use them on your Cricut, on your Silhouette, on your Scan and Cut, and any other machine you have that uses SVGs. There's lots of other cutting machines out there that do just that. So that is one example. Let me show you here too. I've got several examples I want to show you. So like this beautiful stamp set has these beautiful florals, and sometimes it's hard to fussy cut these, but by using the SVG file, you can cut out the outside shape and then stamp, I have it upside down, and then stamp the image on it, and you can get a much easier result without having to do the fussy cutting. And this one is an example of how that works. So this guy here, we cut the SVG and then did it with, then stamped it on. Now, what I want to point out is you don't have to use white. We typically do a lot of white cardstock with this because we want to color, but imagine this in craft and then coloring this in craft, or maybe another color, pink or blue or green or whatever you want to use. But an SVG does not do the image. The SVG only does the outline shape, and then you stamp the image on. So all of our stamp sets come with that for free. I want you to have access to that. Some of our stamp sets, like this one, come with some other items like these big ornament SVGs. So we created this one to be an advent calendar, okay? And you get these three shapes with it. You get the snowflake, you get the bell, and you get the ornament, okay? And you can see here, these guys I cut in white, but these I cut in color. And also, these come with a layer SVG that you can layer them up. These are not the ones to layer, but they do come with the layer. So what I want to do today is show you how you get the SVG once you purchase a stamp set, and then how you load it, etc., etc. So let's get started on that. Let's start by downloading the SVG. In order to do that, you want to go to my website, MaymayMadeIt.com, and in the top left hand of the screen, you'll see the menu option. Click on menu. When you do, you'll see here that you can get to digital freebies. Let that menu fly out, and when it does, you'll see free SVGs. That's what we want to click. Now, our SVGs are listed in alphabetical order for you, so you can just scroll right down the page and look at all of the free SVGs. I'm going to use the one today called Holiday Delivery. Here it is right here. Now, I'm going to click on it, and when I do, my computer is going to automatically download it. I'll show you what it does. It sends it straight up into my downloads and downloads the file for me. Now, let's say that you click on Holiday Delivery and it doesn't automatically download for you. It will more than likely pop up the image of the SVG right here on your screen. If it does, all you need to do is right-click on your screen and choose Save. And when you save it, it'll go into your files. Let's now go and open it in Cricut. Now that we're in Cricut Design Space, I'm going to head up here to the top where it says New Project, and that'll open a blank project for us on the canvas. Then I want to go to Upload. This is where we're going to upload our image that we just downloaded. So here you'll see where it says Upload Image. What's important is that you notice the kinds of files you can upload, and SVG is one of them. So let's click Upload Image. Then you see here you can browse for your file, or you can drag a file here. I'm going to click Browse. Then to find that file, I'm going to type in Holiday, or I could have just navigated over to my downloads and I would have found it there. But here it is, Holiday Delivery, and I will click Open. Now I want to show you, these are the outlined images. And yes, it looks blurry here, but it won't matter. When you put it into the project, it'll all clear up. So let's go continue. Now you have some options. You can change this title. I don't need all these numbers beside it. That's just kind of the hosting software that adds that on for us. So you can take that off and just leave it as holiday delivery. You could take the underscore out if you wanted to, however you want to name it. And then you can tag it with words for searching. You also can add it into one of your collections. I'm not going to today, but you could. You see, I have one here called Maymay SVGs, but I already have this guy in there. But to save it, you would just click on it like that. All right, let's go to upload. Now we've uploaded our image. It is right here on the screen. Now here's a couple things I need to show you, okay? When you upload this, everything is connected together in a group, all right? So let me show you what that means. If I move this guy around, it will all move together because it's grouped together. In order to separate it, I would have to click ungroup right here. But before I do, I want to show you something. If I were to take this right now to the Maker 3 and say make it, let me show you what happens. See how it has slid everything across the page? The reason it does this is because Cricut wants to save space when it cuts, so it would prefer to do it this way. I, however, do not prefer this because I want to stamp them using either my MISTI or my stamp wheel. So I would prefer them to be more the size of the stamp set itself. So let me show you what we can do. I'm going to click cancel. And I'm going to go back here. Now, the reason that happened is because they were grouped together and not attached together, okay? Grouped together just means it holds them together on the screen for me to move them around. But when I come down here to the bottom right and I click attach, now we've told Cricut, I want you to keep them right where they are and not move them. So now let me show you what happens when I say make. Now you can see on our cutting mat or on our cardstock that we're going to cut, everything stays close together. This will fit into my MISTI or my stamp wheel better than having them all the way across the page. And I have a video that I want to link that will show you how to stamp using your MISTI so you can see why I like to leave it this way. We'll link that in the description below. Let me go back and show you one other thing that just might happen to you, and that is this. Let's say you're not using the Maker. Let's say you're using your Cricut Joy. Not the Joy Extra, but the Joy. Let's click on that, and now let's say Make. This is what you're going to see. Images too large. To resolve, resize affected images from Layers panel, see warning icon. The reason this is too large, even though this stamp set is a 4x6 stamp set, and it seems as though it should fit on a Cricut Joy mat, in order to make something an SVG, we have to make it larger than the stamped image. So you can see here, this group of images is actually 4.74 by 6.58, and it won't fit on a Joy mat. Let's talk about how to fix it being too large for your Joy. First things first, if you're like me, I typically don't stamp the sentiments. Or at least I don't cut the SVGs for them. I usually stamp them onto the project in a different way. So I could get rid of all of the sentiment options here just by detaching. So I'm opening it up again. I need to ungroup my image by clicking here. And then I can come into each one of these. And I want you to notice this. When I click this guy, it turns green right here and I get this eye option. I'm going to turn that eye off. I don't need these. Like I said, I typically stamp my sentiments either on like a banner strip or maybe on a die piece or something like that, or maybe inside the card. So I really don't need them to stamp on an SVG. So I just run over here and turn all of those off. This one and these are the heart images. I do like those, and I also want to use this little envelope piece. So let me show you what we're going to do to fix this. I'm going to move this little guy up here, like so, and this little guy up here, and then I can bring him in, because these are ones I do want my SVG for, and then I'll bring this little guy up. Now, what I want to do here is select all of these pieces. Again, I'm not selecting the sentiments. I didn't bring them with me. And now I can attach these together. So now when I go use it on my Joy, you'll see that now I can use it. I'll put it on a mat, and it pops up on one mat. Now, I also could cut multiples of these by just going right up here
and telling it to cut more than one. Let's cut 2 and apply. However, because I attached these images, it's going to make it the same on both sheets, which actually is kind of a bonus, because if you're going to stamp them with your MISTI or your stamp wheel, you only have to set your stamps one time and just stamp multiple times using what you cut here, because it'll match each time. Now I want to talk to you about what might be the most important part, and maybe I should have started with this, but I hope this makes sense to you. If you resize these in any way, for example, if I grab this and stretch it, it is no longer sized to fit the stamp set. You don't want to resize your SVGs when they coordinate with the stamp set at all. You need them to stay like they are in your design space when you open them. So I'm going to go undo that so they'll go back to normal size. But if you were to stretch them in any way, they will no longer fit the stamps. They will be either bigger or smaller depending on how you stretch them. So those are my tips and tricks for using SVGs with Cricut Design Space. And remember, if you're using Silhouette, it works very similar. There may be some functionality differences that are, not quite the same, but for the most part, it works the same. If you're interested in using SVGs on your brother's Scan and Cut, I'm going to link a video below that'll help you with that. There's a different way that I like to use them on my brother machine. So be sure to watch that video if you'd like to see how I do that. Don't forget to give this one a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel, and until next time, bye now.